Good morning, students. Welcome to the chemistry session. In the last session, we were discussing regarding the oxidation reactions and their benefits as well as the harmfulness of oxidation reaction. That too, we are saying mainly the harmful effects of oxidation reaction we were discussing in the last topic. We say mainly the oxidation reaction harmful are of two types. We say the first one is called as the rancidity. Second one mainly we observe is a corrosion. Okay, due to oxidation reaction, the first drawback we observe is a rancidity. Second is a corrosion. We discussed already rancidity. What is called rancidity? Means the spoilage of oily food materials due to the exposure with the air. Due to the exposure with the air, it undergo changes in smell, changes in taste, okay, and leads to spoilage. Okay, that's called a rancidity. If you want to say in a single line, okay, what is called rancidity means spoilage of oily food materials due to reaction with oxygen is called a rancidity. Okay, coming to the corrosion. What is called corrosion? The spoilage of metals when exposed to the air, for longer time is called as corrosion. Okay, so what we are having corrosion, we say spoilage of metals due to exposure to air. So in the air, what we are having mainly oxygen is the main one. Along with this one, you may also have moisture. So the oxygen plays a key role. So oxygen along with the moisture, they react with the metal and carries out oxidation reaction and leads to formation of a product that we call as corrosion product, or we can call it corroded product. Okay, the phenomenon of spoiling is called corrosion. How we know that a metal is undergoing spoiling? Means we observe a changes in color. So we know that the best example what we are saying is iron. Iron when we keep on the surface, when I observe the iron, a fresh iron metal piece will be metallic in nature. But when you expose it to the air, you keep it to the air outside, automatically within a week or 10 days, we observe some layer of obtained on the surface of iron. First initially it will be light yellow in color, later on turns to brown color, later on dark brown color. So the changes here, what is due to what we can call as corrosion product, we say. This is a corrosion product. Due to formation of this corrosion product on the surface of the iron, automatically we say that the color will be changed. So iron initially it was in the state of the metallic color, it will be turns into which one? Brown color, we can able to see. So brown color substance which is octave resin, what we call simply called as rust. So the brown color material which we call as rust is formed on the surface of the iron. So the phenomena of iron changing its color due to the reaction with the air normally is a corrosion. So that's why here what you can call rusting of iron. Rusting of iron is the best example. Not only that one, we also said the copper. Copper, everyone knows, it's a reddish brown color metal. When you open the copper, when you keep the copper for longer time to the air, automatically observe the changes in the color. It will be turning to a green color coating. A green color coating on this obtained on surface of copper metal. Copper metal is also the corrosion. Next one, when you see the silver, everyone knows it's a shiny color, has a shiny color. So when you have this one, when the silver is undergone the corrosion, we observe that a black color layer. Black, it's not completely dark black, but automatically we observe the color of the silver is diminished. Okay, it becomes dull. So the color, black color coating on a surface of silver. And moreover, you can also see aluminium also. Everyone knows aluminium is also a metallic color. It looks shininess. This also, when you expose it to this one, it becomes dullness. You observe the dullness on the surface of the aluminium metal. So why means those all metals are undergoing the process of corrosion. So in the last session we discussed how the iron undergo rust, how the rust will form from the iron, etc. we will discuss. Okay, so just repeating in a concise way. So when we say the iron, if you keep a piece of the iron outside, when it expose it to oxygen or void, etc., first iron will undergo oxidation. It will act as anode, undergo oxidation and converts into Fe plus 2 and 2 electrons. After it is converting into Fe plus 2 electron, these all iron particles which are there slowly starts moving towards the surface, and here it will give up these electrons. It will be Fe plus 2 and 2 electrons now will be present on the surface. These oxygen and water then take up the 2 electrons, and oxygen, water will take the electrons and converts to give rise to OH minus. It will convert into OH minus, is said. So if you want to have this one, the later on this Fe plus 2 which is there here, the Fe plus 2 further may oxidize. It may further may oxidize into Fe plus 3. Okay, ferrous, ferric. Fe plus 2, ferrous, ferric. Okay, this Fe plus 3 means iron in the state of Fe plus 3 condition reacts with the OH minus ions and converts into FeOH taken thrice, which is called as what? Ferric hydroxide. Whenever you form this ferric hydroxide, you can observe the formation of the first a yellow color layer. A yellow color layer will be obtained on the surface of the iron. Okay, a yellow layer will be obtained. This ferric hydroxide furtherly undergoes. Again, it will react with the oxygen as well as moisture furtherly and undergo the changes and converts into Fe2O3 XH2O. Means what we say, on that one you will observe the one more layer. What is that? Brown layer will be obtained. This brown layer is nothing but what we can call as rust. So this all mechanism we explained in the last class. Now the problem comes is, we are using the metals, number of metals in our daily life. We are using number of metals for the various purposes in our daily life. But if these metals will undergo corrosion, okay, simple nothing but they are undergoing spoiling, it will be what happened, damage, or it is a cost, it is a waste of money for us. That's why always there should be some measure not to undergo corrosion. The metals not to undergo corrosion. So today we will discuss what are the methods to prevent the corrosion. We will discuss. So mainly the corrosion, a metal from undergoing corrosion. So we have the measures for preventing corrosion, or methods for preventing corrosion, we say. So we have a number of methods there. In this one, the first and easiest method for most of the metals, what we like iron, what we use is applying the paints. By applying paints, Okay, so you can see iron metal, whether that iron metal substance is present inside our house or outside our house. We first of all we try to apply the paint. What it do? The paint will try to whatever the paint you are applying. Now it will be present on the surface of the iron. So whenever it is surface iron, now if the oxygen will try to come and interact, this oxygen will not allow. This oxygen cannot interact with iron because what happened? Paint is protecting it. Paint is protecting it. So this is a very simplest method by applying paints. Second one, by applying the oils and greases. For all the metals, we can't apply the paints. Okay, like iron or few of the metals, aluminium or etc. We can try to apply the metal. We can apply the paint. But there are many metals where we can't apply the paints. So such metals can be prevented from under corrosion by applying the oils or grease. Okay. So same method, if you keep any other metal, you are applying the oil or grease on the surface of this one. This oil or grease will act as a protective layer. And it do not, if oxygen or moisture, anything want to interact with the metal. Now this is what is this called? Either it is oil or it is a grease. Both of them will try to stop the metal from reacting with reacting with oxygen and moisture. When they prevent this metal to interact with the oxygen moisture, no reaction takes place. Thereby, metal will be in the safe condition. It do not undergo. The third one. Okay, the third method is by alloying. So, what is this alloy means? First of all, the process of preparing alloys. The process of preparing alloys is called as alloying. What is called alloy? Alloy is a mixture of two or more metals or metal and non-metal. So you can take a mixture of two or more. So what is this one means? Whenever one metal is single, the chance of reaction is different. Whenever the metal is combined with another metal, automatically the chance of undergoing corrosion will be decreased. Okay. So the best, we will see the good example of alloys. So normally in our daily life, we see the iron will undergo rusting. Everyone knows iron readily undergo rusting. But so for a few of the in our construction, in our household items, we want that iron, but it should not undergo corrosion. So what happen? Iron will be mixed with the other metals. Okay. So in that situation, we come across one is called as a nickel steel. We say one alloy is called as nickel steel. In this case, we take the iron to this one. We mix that metal is a nickel. This combination of the iron nickel, now it is an alloy. So what happened? The combined product, what is the material you are using, it will be what happened? Resistant to reaction with oxygen as well as moisture, thereby do not undergo corrosion readily. Okay. Next, in our houses, everyone uses this one. What we can say? Stainless steel. Our kitchen, maximum of the utensils in our kitchen are made up of stainless steel. Okay, stainless steel, spoons, bowls, plates, etc. So what is stainless steel? It is also normal mixture of it is also made of iron only. Okay, along with the iron, we take the nickel, okay, chromium, and we have is a carbon. So mixture, that's why I said a mixture of two or more metal, non-metal, etc. Iron is there, nickel is there, chromium is there, and carbon is a non-metal. So mixture of each metal is given in a specific composition. Okay, some in more quantity, some in less quantity we take, and both of them together. Now this together is called stainless steel. Next one is we have is the brass. Brass in this one is a combination of copper as well as zinc. Now as I said, copper originally is a reddish brown metal, but when you keep it to the air for longer time, you observe green color coating obtained. Means copper is readily undergoing corrosion. To prevent that one, if you mix the zinc, little quantity of zinc to copper, automatically that will form brass. Brass will not undergo corrosion fastly. It will be stable in nature. You can say. Next one we can have is the bronze. Okay, bronze. It's a copper along with Sn. What is Sn? Tin. Tin metal. Okay, when the tin is mixed in the 2% of the tin, when it is mixed to copper, the total mixture now we call as bronze. Okay, the bronze a very good a stable material and good resounding materials. It has good properties also. Okay, where good resounding materials we have. Next one also we have is a roll gold. Normally nowadays jewelry, imitation jewelries we are getting. So when you see that is looks like gold only, but actually when you see a factor, it is not a original gold. It is made up of the material called as a rolled gold. So in this one, it is made up of the copper along with the aluminium. Copper, aluminium, normally mix is called rolled gold. Or you take our ornament gold. So normally the ornaments, to prepare our ornaments, we regularly gold ornaments especially we are using gold. But when you are making different types of ornaments, either chains or rings or any this one, the gold is mixed with what? A little bit of copper. Okay, so what you can say, copper along with the gold. Major is which one? Gold only. In that one minute quantity is copper. So now mixed is called ornament gold. We call this ornament gold is what we can call 22 carats gold. 22 carat. You see here, pure gold, which is not containing any other, it is called 24 carats gold. Okay, whenever this gold is taken, chances of the gold is undergoing corrosion is there. So we try to mix this one with the what we mix copper, a little bit of copper we mix, so that the combination is copper will give stability or resistance to gold from undergoing corrosion. Okay, so like this, not only this, many alloys are there. Okay, so this is one of the good method of preventing corrosion. So alloying in the different competitive examinations, they ask what is the composition of stainless steel, or what are the composition of brass, what is the composition of bronze. Few of the metals they are giving alloys, what is its composition they are asking. So keep in your mind, in the notes we will give the more and more examples also will be mentioning. So this is the one. So third method is the alloy. Next, coming to the fourth one. Coming to the fourth method of preventing corrosion is a sacrificial protection. Sacrificial protection we say, or we can call sacrificial anode protection we say. What is this sacrificial protection? Means any metal whichever you want to protect or which you want to prevent from undergoing corrosion, if that metal is being coated with other metal, if that metal is coated with other metal which is more reactive, then what happens is, suppose I am taking a metal called X. X is called as a metal. Okay, if I want the X when it is alone, definitely undergo corrosion. I don't want the X metal from undergoing corrosion. What happens in this way? This X now is being coated with the another material. Is being coated with the another metal. Let's call this metal is called Y. Okay, is called as Y. this Y very deep. It's like what happened dipping. Suppose if you are taking a one like this marker, if you dip in a paint, so you will see total paint will be stick to the surface of this marker. Like that, if this Y metal, normally the Y metal when you dip, sorry, this X metal when you dip in the Y, totally now the X metal will be coated with which one? Y metal. Okay, and Y metal is more reactive. If Y metal is more reactive than X. So now this we are keeping. When you keep this material outside, so oxygen or anything is there, oxygen readily reacts with which one? Y. Because outside which is there, Y is there, inside X is there. So oxygen or moisture, anything will react with only the Y metal, and thereby what happen? Whatever the changes will occur, only it will carry out in the outer surface. Okay, thereby what happen? Inner what is there? X is the metal is there. Inner metal will be in safe side. Okay, this is called what happen? Indirect way of protection. Indirect way of protection. But to select this one, the condition is more reactive metal should be placed on the surface of the less reactive metal. That's the rule. How do you know? Means already in the last two sessions etc. we gave one reactivity series. Reactivity series gave. Okay, what happened? Please potassium, sodium, calcium, aluminium, magnesium. Okay, next one. Okay, next zinc, copper. Like this we are giving the reactive series. I gave. I said one statement also. Please stop calling me a zebra. Instead call me a sweet goat. Like this I was giving order. So according to this one, suppose in this case I want to protect aluminium. I want to protect aluminium. In such situation what happened? Any metal which is more reactive than aluminium. If I want to protect aluminium, you take metal which is more reactive. The metals which are above aluminium are more reactive. That's why which are calcium, potassium. Okay, next one, sodium, potassium, and we can say this one, potassium, sodium, calcium. These three are more reactive aluminium. So what you will take? Take the aluminium and try to place either potassium or sodium or calcium on the surface of aluminium. When you are keeping here, automatically, let's take, I am trying to keep the, suppose calcium. So whenever you are keeping this keeping the calcium on the surface of aluminium, so this is calcium. Suppose if the oxygen comes here, this calcium is more reactive than aluminium. So automatically this oxygen react with calcium, not aluminium. Thereby aluminium which is inside will be safer and do not undergo changes. Which will be spoiling? Means outside calcium will be spoiling. So this is the way. Mainly this method will try to use mainly to protect the some costly metals. Some metals are cheaper in nature. Suppose if you take iron, aluminium, okay, copper, little bit they are cheaper. But there are many metals which are costly in nature. Such metals, costly metals, are being protected by means of this sacrificial. Rule is less reactive metal should be placed inside and more reactive metal should be placed outside. This is a more reactive metal. So when you keep like this, automatically whatever the oxygen is there, it reacts to the only outer layer. It don't come into inside. Damaging occurs is only outside one. Inside will be safe side. Okay. So this is called sacrificial protection. This is. And coming to the industrially very important one is called galvanizing. Galvanization. Okay. And next one. Second one is called tinning. By galvanization and tinning. These are the industrially mostly used. So what is this galvanization and tinning? In industry, if you want to protect the normally iron in the case of here. Okay. In the case I want to have, now what we are saying is the iron. Okay, let's take if it is a iron. So I want to protect the iron. Iron, everyone knows, iron will readily undergo corrosion. So if I want to protect the, now whatever the methods I said, oil, applying paints, by whatever may be sacrificial, sometimes in certain situation it may not be suitable. That's why what happened, we try to coat the iron, with what we can call mainly zinc. We try to coat the what happened, zinc. Okay, a zinc metal is being coated. Okay, what is actually called galvanization means the process of coating. Galvanization means the process of coating zinc metal. The process of coating zinc metal on surface of iron. On which one you are giving? On the surface of iron. Okay, that we can call. So whenever you take suppose I am keeping this is one iron rod or iron sheet. If I take this is the iron. Okay, on the surface of iron, if you keep the zinc metal. Okay, total if you keep the zinc metal on its surface totally. So now this is the zinc metal. Inside what is there? Inside is the iron. So whenever you are keeping, this process is called as a galvanization. And the sheet, okay, where do you use? I'll give you a good example. In the nowadays, when for the roofing, we normally use this what happened? Iron sheets we'll use. We'll use iron sheets for roofing. Everyone knows that iron sheets which are used for the roofing will be looking like a stainless steel, very shiny silver color. But practically iron is in which color? It's a metallic color. But how you got this one? How you got that silvery layer, etc. means that iron sheet on that one we try to keep we are keeping which one? Zinc metal. Okay, zinc metal by the process of galvanization we mind with it. So normally what we take a zinc iron and I'll explain you in a simple way. We take the zinc metal. Zinc metal we try to take in the liquid state, molten. That's why we say it called molten zinc metal. In that one we try to dip the iron rod. We try to dip the iron rod. When you dip the iron rod like this, let's imagine this is an iron rod. If I am dipping in this liquid, automatically what happens? Whatever the metal which is present here, it gets stick to the surface of this iron. Okay. Then later on we remove this iron rod. We remove the total rod in this zinc metal, and later on when you take it out and allow it to dry. When allowed to dry, after some time we see what happens. Inside will be iron. Iron will be inside. Outside will be what? Zinc. That's why what happened? The roofs, whatever the sheets we are using for the roofing, we see in the case of the color, what happens? Silver color. And they don't undergo rusting immediately because on the surface of that one, what metal is there? Zinc is there. So if this zinc is there, automatically if oxygen or anything, oxygen or moisture, anything is coming, which will react? It will react with which one? Only external layer. Which is external layer? Zinc. Zinc is an external layer. It will react with the oxygen moisture. Therefore what happens? Internally iron will be in the safe side. Okay. Until this external zinc is there on the surface of iron, the internal iron will be in safe side. We don't observe any rusting or nothing. But as the days pass on, automatically after few days, maybe 6 months or after 1 year, slowly we observe the iron sheets instead of silver color, we have this light brownish we are getting. Why are you getting brownish after 1 year, etc. means in the meantime the layer on the surface of this iron zinc was there. The zinc was being completely removed out. Means it was reacting with oxygen and gone away. Whenever it is being gone away, what is left over? Iron. So iron definitely react with oxygen and leads to the corrosion. That's a brown color we will get. So in the examination they ask what is called galvanization, they will ask. So galvanization is the process of coating the iron, the process of coating zinc metal on the surface of the iron, on the surface of the iron sheets is called as galvanization method. Coming to second one, tinning. Okay, same method. Suppose in the case of here, I am taking the iron rod or iron sheet. I want to protect. So the process of coating the iron, the process of coating the metal. Here we use a different metal. The metal which you are using here is a tin. Tin. What is the formula? Sn. Okay. The process of coating tin metal on the surface of iron is called what we can call as tinning. It's called as what? Tinning. Pronounce properly. The process of coating a tin on the surface of iron is called what? Tinning. Same how here we are doing. The tin will act as a protective layer. Is acting as a protector. Okay. Simple like normally when you take your notebook, we try to cover our notebooks. Okay. What are maybe some of them use brown color, some are different. So what happened? The cover is protecting your outer surface of your book, outer surface of your book. Unfortunately, any water or anything falls on the outer surface of the book, what happened? Book will not immediately spoil out because the cover will be present on the book will protect the outer surface of your book from spoiling. Similarly, here the tin metal which is present on the surface of the iron, it also protects iron from undergoing spoiling. If oxygen or anything comes, it reacts with only tin. Until unless this tin metal, if it is present on the surface of iron, the iron will be the safe side. It do not undergo any type of changes. So this is the best example of galvanization, tinning. Okay. So once again, what is that? Galvanization, the process of coating zinc metal on the surface of iron is called as galvanization. What is called tinning? The process of coating tin metal on the surface of iron is called as tinning method. Okay. So like this we have the normally number of still more corrosion methods are there. Still more corrosion methods are there. But whatever we discuss, these 5 methods what we discuss are mostly used to prevent the corrosion of metals. Okay. And indirectly we can say to prevent the what we can call as to prevent the oxidation reactions. To prevent the oxidation reactions of metal. Okay. Indirectly we can say to prevent the corrosion, I can say. Okay. In the examinations, many times the question is being asked in a 1 mark or in a 2 marks, they ask on this topic. So read the notes, write the notes and read that points clearly. What is alloy, mixture of alloys, what is galvanizing, what is tinning. Okay, they ask many times. Okay, so with this we finish up this first chapter, chemical reactions and equations. In the next session, let us start with a new chapter. Okay, thank you.